And now, the moment you've all been waiting for. You're tuned in to Tapped Out. Hosted by Brendan Tobin and Sean Levine. Only on the BetQL network.
I think that because of Sean's popularity, you smack a couple of other good fights, entertaining fights on that card, even though it'll be the first time that we've seen him as a pay-per-view championship contender main event fighter. I think that his star power is ready for that. So I think that draws an absolutely huge number. I feel like, and we kind of had a little fun with this a few months ago, his popularity now is where Masvidal's was like the year after. So when was his great year? 2019. So where Masvidal was in like 2020 is where I think Sean O'Malley is right now.
That's the thing. That was kind of my argument that he got all upset about is, that we don't know. I think that's the thing that we knew with Jorge Masvidal, that he was headlining pay-per-views and, carrying, Fight Island on short notice and Usman and all that. So now we get to see what it's like for Sugar. And I think that that's going to be the big test. I think you're right. I think that he will flourish in that spot and be really, really popular. But see what our guy Big Marcel has to say about it, because, he's always fantastic on offense fighting.
Marcel Dorff, friend of the show, joins us here on Tapped Out. Marcel, did you have any problem with Aljamain Sterling by decision last Saturday night over Henry Cejudo? Do you think they got it right?
Yeah, no problem with it at all. By the way, thank you for having me again. No problem at all with it, to be really honest, man. I think I actually scored it. Let me see if I can remember correctly. I had round 1 I had for Aljamain. Round 2 I had for Henry, but that was kind of 50-50, that one, in my opinion. Round 3 was for Aljamain, in my opinion. Round 4 was I had round 5 for Cejudo. So I had either 48-47 Aljo or 49-46, but I would be cool with 48-47. I think round 2 for me was the swing round. Many people had round 3 as the swing round. I had that one for Aljo, actually, but yeah, I thought the right guy won, so I had no problem with it.
Yeah, I agree, Big Marcel. What overall, how did you think Henry looked in his return? All that time off. What did you make of just his performance in general, and where do you think he goes from here?
Yeah, I think he was in the beginning of the fight. He was a little bit hesitant, and it is difficult. If you haven't fought for 3 years, you got to feel out the thing in the beginning. And I think as far as the fight went, he got better. He got more of his feelings back in it. And I actually think he looked pretty decent, man. To be honest, 3 years away from the sport, actually 2 years with 1 year of training after the 2 years away, and getting back in there in a title fight against the current best guy in the division, who is champion. I think he did pretty well, and where he goes from here. Man, he called out Merab Dvalishvili. It's a perfect call out. Merab doesn't want to fight Aljo. Aljo is going to fight Sean O'Malley probably next. So, Merab doesn't have anything in the division. Yeah, maybe Corey Sandhagen, who also called him out. But I think it's perfect for Cejudo, and if Aljo is able to win against Sean O'Malley, he will go to featherweight. And if Cejudo can win against Dvalishvili, he's immediately there again for fighting for the title. So it's a very smart move by him if they do it,
Just fight your friend, damn it. Especially if the fight's in Las Vegas. You know how many times I've ended up fighting my friends in Las Vegas? It happens sometimes. At Big Marcel 24, Marcel Dorff joins us here on Tapped Out. So you mentioned the O'Malley versus Aljamain Sterling fight. That's what we're going to see next for the belt. Early lines have it O'Malley as a big underdog, about the same as he was versus Petr Yan. What do you think the chances are that Sugar Sean is holding the belt after this fight?
The chances are always there, of course. If you look at the complete package, I feel like Aljo is completer, but at the same time, Sean has a better striking is better, in my opinion, Aljo still really relies on his wrestling, on his jiu-jitsu, the human backpack. And Sean O'Malley really is like a really good striker, technically really good, I feel. And the thing is, can he keep the fight standing against Aljo? He will get to the ground at a certain moment, I think. But if he gets to the ground, can he get back up? That's the main thing. And if he can do that, he gets multiple chances to put away Aljo, because he has the power, we know it, and he has the technique to win on the feet, a kickboxing match pretty much. But the thing is, he has to be hesitant all the time, because Aljo will try to take it to the ground. He definitely has a chance, for sure, but I wouldn't put my money on Sean in this fight. But hey, that's my opinion.
Marcel, we are, because it's odd that we already have a card in the books for today. UFC Charlotte. What was some of the things that really stood out today? Almeida looked amazing. Johnny Walker getting the win. Ian Gary. Like, what were the couple of things that really stood out to you today on today's card?
Oh man, there were a lot. Almeida, who, like you said, who got like a way too easy win, to be really honest, in my opinion, and he did it against a guy in the top 10, so it's impressive. I thought it was really cool how Matt Brown got the knockout. Listen, man, I love Court McGee as well, but Matt Brown, dude is a veteran. Everybody loves to see Matt Brown doing well, in my opinion. I think, and I had the feeling that Court McGee started well in that fight, but Matt Brown, I don't know where put him out with one punch. I really, really liked the Tainara Lisboa girl, her debut in the very first fight of the night. I think she looked good, man, and she's a Muay Thai fighter, and she got the submission win in the third round. I think she looked really good. I love Brian Battle against Gabe Green. Gabe went crazy, man, coming after him, and he paid the price for it, with that. Yeah. I mean, who expected that, Gabe Green doing that, I think Brian Battle was surprised as well, but that was, beautiful finish for him in his hometown. And, man, what about the weirdest fight of the night, Ji-Yeon Kim against Mandy Boom, weirdest fight of the night. A lot of emotions for Ji-Yeon Kim going into that fight because of the last time Mandy pulled out. And apparently Ji-Yeon Kim's grandmother passed away that week, and she couldn't go to the funeral.
Go to the funeral or something, like that, right?
Yeah, and Mandy pulled out like 4
that would make
or 5 hours.
That would make me mad.
Yeah. So, but yeah, you got to control those emotions. I mean, she went a little bit too crazy. I mean, the knee was probably not intentional, but that kick after round 2 wasn't that smart. And the referee, yeah, I mean, listen, I wasn't against those 2 points taken away, but he did it at a really weird time. He took the point away after he waved off the fight, and he took the point away right before the beginning for the third round. So, yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
We were talking about this earlier, Marcel. Ian Gary's call out of Neil Magny. Kind of a weird one. What did you he looked at me. I mean, pretty flawless performance by him. He looked great. Neil Magny's a bit of a weird call out. Do you think that's a good fight for him? Does that do anything for you? Do you think that does anything for him? What'd you make of it?
I mean, it would have been a fun call out if he wasn't booked yet, I mean, Neil is fighting Phil Rowe in Jacksonville in June. So, I mean, imagine Phil Rowe wins that fight. Then Neil is out of the rankings. Why would you call him out? You know what I mean? So it's like, the thing is with Gary, he comes in the rankings now, and he got some teammates in the rankings. You got Shafkat in the rankings, Gilbert in the rankings, you got Vicente Luque, all are his teammates. So, listen, the Stephen Thompson fight, Michel Pereira fight is off, right? So maybe one of those two guys, if they don't put it together at a later date. Listen, man, I would have think the UFC made this fight when Daniel Rodriguez wasn't in the rankings. This fight was originally promoted as Ian Gary versus Daniel Rodriguez. And 3 weeks ago, it went Daniel Rodriguez against Ian Gary because Daniel Rodriguez got the number 15 behind his name. So now Ian comes in the rankings after this win. And what they're going to do now, I would have loved, for example, a Kevin Holland matchup. I think that would be great. You know what I mean? But Kevin is not ranked, so I don't know if Ian is interested in that. But I still feel like the UFC wanted to slow roll him a little bit, give him a tough test who is just outside of the rankings, and then Daniel comes in the rankings like 2 or 3 weeks before the fight. And now Ian is in the rankings. So it depends on what the UFC wants to do with him. But yeah, man, so I would say somebody in the bottom of the rankings or just outside, but it really depends what they want to do with it.
You can follow our guest at Big Marcel24 on Twitter. He is Marcel Dorff, and for a few more minutes, he's on Tapped Out. Speaking of matchups, it looks like Khamzat and Usman are chirping back and forth. If that one goes down, who do you even favor in that one?
Oh, wow. Yeah. The thing is, man, with Usman, I still think he beats a lot of guys in the top. That's what I think. I think many people are off on Usman because he lost his last 2 fights. That last one with Edwards was competitive, and let's be honest, the how do you say that? The title loss against Edwards, he was winning that fight until he got knocked out. So he's still really in that, but comes at a special kind of athlete. You know what I mean? Comes at many people are like, the Burns fight, he just got by there. Burns is a really good grappler, plus he's a really good submission artist. So Khamzat had to be didn't put out his own strength in that fight. He was like really hesitant to go to the ground because he knew Burns was, especially on the ground, was a threat to him. So I feel like with Usman is more of a heavy wrestling kind of guy, and not really, how do you say that, leaning on the submission kind of thing that Gilbert does with his BJJ. So for me, it's like, I think Khamzat is physically stronger than Usman because I feel like Khamzat is actually more of a middleweight than a welterweight, So I would kind of favor Khamzat. But the thing is, that worries me, that was his cardio in that fight with Burns. I know he fought Holland after that, but that was a very, very quick fight. But that Burns fight, the cardio, I don't know, because we know Usman has the cardio to go 5 rounds. If he doesn't get them away early, man, can be troubled. But that's the intriguing thing about the fight, That's why we probably want to see the fight and how it plays out. So, yeah.
Marcel, Francis Ngannou teased that he's going to announce his decision this coming Tuesday. Do you think this? You think it has PFL written all over it? What's your best guess on where Francis Ngannou ends up and where his future lies?
Yeah, a friend of mine said OnlyFans, but I don't think that's it. But I have no idea at all. I haven't heard anything about it. So for me, it's a really big guess as well. With PFL, yeah, it's possible, But I think it's like he wants to have a cut a deal where he has like influence at the board as well, like they say all, and he wants to box as well. So you got to have a promotion who is in it, It's difficult, man. Maybe we are looking at it from the wrong way, and it will be not MMA at all, Maybe he just goes into boxing or whatever,
I was saying that too, Marcel, because I was like, none of the heavyweights, I'm a big boxing fan too, like none of the heavyweights have fights right now. And I'm just surprised that the boxing thing just kind of went away because Fury doesn't have a fight, Wilder doesn't have a fight, AJ doesn't have a fight. None of these guys have fights. It feels like this gimmicky, huge Francis fights out there.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like, listen, if these guys want that fight, these boxers, I mean, why wouldn't they do it? You know what I mean? And with Francis, you can bring pretty much the MMA community and the boxing community again together, or face to face against each other. And I'm a guy from MMA coming to boxing who's gonna win here. And Ngannou, listen, man, I don't know if it was smart that he went away, but we will see how it plays out. Maybe it is, maybe he made the right decision, but we will see in his upcoming announcement what's going to happen, And listen, man, it's kind of 50-50, but I'd like to see it. Listen, if you go away from the UFC, you better have a backup plan, in my opinion, and I hope he has that backup plan, and we see him in the boxing fight he wants, or either another MMA organization. I'm cool with that as well. I just want to see him fight. He's a great fighter.
And we should know Marcel coming up on Tuesday. I don't know Marcel's OnlyFans, but I do know his Twitter, and that is @BigMarcel24. As always, we appreciate your information, man. You're the best.
Thank you so much for having me, guys. It's always a pleasure to come on here, and I hope to get another invitation soon. I love to be on here. Thank you so much.
Always welcome.
Anytime,
You're like
man.
that kid that
You're
brings the keg to the party. You can always come to our parties. He is Marcel Dorff. Coming up next, we put a bow on this thing. You're locked into the BetQL network.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, man. Bye.